Hello everyone, good morning once again and welcome to another 8th episode on Tea Talk Show. I am Sanusi Rebecca Titilayo and I'm really excited to be live on the show once again. Today we're going to be discussing how angry can you be? There are a lot of times whereby people tend to step on our toes. A lot of challenges tend to happen, and the only response we expect at that time is anger. Just like the way somebody give birth and you're very excited, you're very happy, you won a scholarship, you're very, very excited. Same thing as when threat happens, when things happens beyond your imagination. So things you're not expecting tend to happen, or people trying to provoke you. Okay, so today we'll be discussing anger, how to deal with anger, effect of anger in the body, and lots more. So I need us to calm down. I need us to grab a writing material and let us enjoy the show together. Now, one thing about anger is that anger is a normal emotional response to threats or provocations from people. Anger is actually a normal emotion that you expect. Just like you expect someone who just won a scholarship to be excited, you expect someone who just gave birth to be very excited, you expect someone who won a contract to be excited. Same thing as you expect someone who's been threatened or who's been provoked to be angry. But one thing is that our anger should not control us. We should be able to control and manage our anger. This is to also tell you that anger can be positive and or can also be negative. For example, if something happened, maybe someone's right is being violated and you're very angry at that and you want a change, that is a positive anger. But if it is not addressed, if it is not managed, this anger can affect your health. It can cause you unnecessary stress. It can cause you sleepless nights. It can affect your heartbeat. It can affect your body system, and that is why it is important for us to learn how to manage anger. We need to learn it. We need to know how to do that. Okay, so another thing I would like us to know, like I said earlier, is that anger affects our health. It affects us. It can affect our attitude. Maybe you're this humorous person, you're this nice person, jovial person. Anger can make you very, very rude. Anger can make you very, very wild at that particular time. So actually, there are different levels of anger. There's this mild anger. A mild anger actually happens when you are irritated or frustrated as a result of lack of basic human needs. For example, maybe you are a student who occupy a particular apartment. You rented a particular place for schooling, and maybe your house rent has finished and the landlord is already telling you to pay, but you don't have money. Maybe students or even married people, you don't have money to pay for your rent, and your landlord is coming the next day. All through that night, you if you are able to sleep well, that means you really tried, because at that time, all the nights you'll be sleeping, you just be thinking, oh my god, what will I say to the landlord tomorrow, and I don't have money. You feel very bad about yourself. So anger does not only occur when people make you angry. There are some situations around you that can naturally cause anger when you lack basic human needs, and when people offend you also can cause anger. Threat from people, criticism, frustration can cause anger, and as a result of this anger, it can actually cause a lot of health issues. Now let me quickly tell you symptoms before I go to the health issues that anger causes. I would like to tell you physical symptoms that you will know that will make you know that you're hungry. Number one, increases heartbeat. For example, let's assume that you are a mother and your child so funny, maybe your child just suddenly cried to your house. The baby just cried, she just cried. She came around and she was just crying, and you're like, what happened? The way the baby was shaking, the way the baby was doing his head as he was seriously crying, you're like, what happened? And this baby told you that it was somebody's daughter or somebody's son that beat him or her. At that point in time, a mother at that point in time can be angry and want to be like, let me go and fight this person that beats my son or that beats my baby. At that point in time, there's this increased heartbeat from the baby, and there's this anger from the woman that wants to be like, at that point in time, when the woman gets there, the woman might be shaking her hand, shaking her palm, just shaking from from one side to the other, speaking louder. So these are signs of physical signs of being angry: increase in heartbeat, speaking louder. Maybe you just unnecessarily raised your voice. That means you're angry, because if you're not angry on a norm, you wouldn't have raised your voice that loud, except you're singing. And losing sense of humor. Anger can make you lose your sense of humor. Anger can make you talk rude to people. Shallow breathing and pacing. Now, and I would quickly like to say this: it is also very important to know that whenever you're angry, there are some hormones that are actually released during the state of being angry. The hormone is actually called adrenaline and cortisol hormone. These hormones are actually fight hormones. They are fight hormones. They are flight hormones. So too much of these hormones, when too much of these hormones is then released, then it can now cause health issues, a lot of health issues for you. Now, first off, what are the physical health issues that it can cause you? It can cause you to increase in heart rate. That is, your heart rate will be very, very fast. It can cause high blood pressure. It can cause an increase in the body temperature. That is, your body will be unnecessarily hot. And high blood pressure can actually lead to stroke. It can cause something very big and very, very serious. And it can also lead to sleepless nights. Because of the fact that you're angry at your basic needs, or maybe something is going on in your life that you don't like, you don't know how you're going to deal with your boss tomorrow morning. It can make you to be sleepless. That's that. And also now we have the psychological problems that can result from anger. We have the eating disorder. Now, if you need a podcast on that, we need you to if you need a podcast on that, just click the same link that brought you here. Click on that link and you will see a podcast episode on eating disorder. I hosted a guest, Dr. Timmy, who did a lot of justice to eating disorder. So psychological problems that anger can cause you, that is when you're very, very angry, when you fail to control your anger, it can make you to have eating disorder. It can cause depression, because you tend to overthink, you think a lot. Because of that, you're very angry, and at the end of it, you can end up being depressed. And also, it can reduce your self-confidence and self-esteem. For example, maybe you're angry and you want to go and fight back, then you discover that the person you want to fight back is someone who is maybe bigger than you unexpectedly. At that point in time, it can reduce your self-confidence and self-esteem. So anger is a whole lot. Anger can actually affect us. It can actually affect us. So please, you need to work on how to manage your anger. Okay, so quickly, I would like you to give us steps to manage anger. Number 1, take a deep breath. Whenever you're angry, do well to take a deep breath. You take a deep breath. When you're angry, you can also take water. Just go to your fridge or your drum where your water is. Just take water and just relax. And secondly, count 1 to 10 before you respond. Before you respond to any criticism, because of anything that people tend to say to you, we advise you to take a deep breath and count 1 to 10 before you respond. Before you say anything, count it 1, 2, 3. Before you finish counting that, you see that you're a little bit calm, and at the end of it, whatever you will say would be something positive. You won't end up saying something that wouldn't really be okay. And also, number 3, leave the scene if possible. Leave the scene if possible. If possible, at that point, we need you to leave the scene, so as to prevent unnecessary things. Because the truth is that the person you're fighting with, the person you're angry with, we keep getting you angry. So the best thing you can help your mental health, help your emotional health, help you and help the person is by leaving the scene if possible. Now take a walk around. Just walk around whenever you're hungry. Take a walk around. This is very, very important. Now there are cognitive effective ways and behaviors to manage anger. Number one, identify the trigger. What trigger us to get angry are different. For some people, it might be that the way the person spoke is what actually made you angry. Maybe the person said something that you feel was too much, a nasty statement, because the truth is that we're always in contact with people. We always come in contact with people with different background, different experiences, different belief system. A lot of things are different with everyone. So you need to actually learn how to do that, manage it. And the first thing you need to do is to identify your trigger. What actually triggers you? Is it that when you see humans rights being violated, maybe you see people face emotional abuse? Is that what actually causes trigger? You need to take note of that. Number two, evaluate your anger, if it is an enemy or a friend. For example, if your anger, you evaluate it and you found out that this anger is a positive one that can actually create a change in the society, you can do well to put much effort in it, while you also prevent yourself from letting it affect your own mental health. So you need to evaluate your anger. You need to count 1 to 10 before you respond. You need to take a deep breath, and lastly, you need to leave the scene. And one thing you should understand as I end this series is that anger is actually a normal emotional response to threat, but then it can cost us if we fail to learn how to manage our anger. So we will be a good citizen of the country wherever we find ourselves. We will be useful in the society. We will make the society peaceful, remain in peace and harmony if we do well to manage and control our anger well. Okay, so I have that's all I have to say as regarding that. And also I have some adverts on the show today. Glorious Rental Services Abala Ologweru Ibadan. They offer good quality canopies, tables, chairs, pots of different sizes, cooking gas that are good for your events. You need to contact this number 08107980904. Another number is 08052010297 for your wedding, naming ceremony, funeral, birthday, and all events. You're also invited to join our Telegram channel at t.me/Talk Show. And also I have a giveaway to whoever shared this podcast episode on social media platform, Facebook, Twitter. All you need to do is just to click on the logo on that page that you're listening. You use to listen. You see the poll, you see like, you see download, you see Facebook, you see Twitter. So click on both logos, share it on your own social media platform, screenshot it, and send the screenshot to my number 08146469279 to get your giveaway. And also, lastly, Talk Show helps advertises businesses and services on our show. Reach out to me at 08146469279. If you would also love to be a part of my show to talk about your business and services, you need to reach out to me on my number. Also, if you have questions as regarding Talk Show, also reach out to my number or my email address at ttalkshow@gmail.com. And also, once again, thank you so much for joining me on this episode. Remember that Talk Show is a weekend show with a health segment focused on the health and a little bite on education and relationship, meaning that this evening 7 p.m. African time, I'll be live once again as we discuss the topic official calls. What's your take on official calls? What's very, very important to note as regarding official calls? When should official calls happen? That's and much more will be discussed. So do well to join me this evening 7 p.m. African time as we discuss this issue. And tomorrow evening 7 p.m. on Love Me JJ. And also lastly, I want to thank you for listening to this podcast episode. Don't forget to share with your friends and loved ones, and also